If you're thinking about moving to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, this video is going to save you months of research. I'm going to walk you through everything: the neighborhoods, the cost of living, the job market, the schools, and the things most people don't find out until after they've already moved. Whether you're relocating for work or family, or just looking for a better quality of life, you're in the right place. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly whether Winston-Salem is the right move for you. Before we dive in, I want to take just a second to say, if you're already at the point where you're seriously considering a move to the Winston-Salem area, or anywhere in the Piedmont Triad, reach out to me directly. Every single week, I work with people just like you who are relocating from out of state, moving closer to family, or making a fresh start somewhere new. I make the process simple, stress-free, and I know this market inside and out. All of my contact information is in the description below. Send me a message, shoot me a text, or schedule a call. I'd love to help you. Now, let's get into it. Winston-Salem is one of those cities that keeps showing up on national relocation lists, and for good reason. People are leaving high cost of living metros like Charlotte, Washington, D.C., and the Northeast and discovering that Winston-Salem gives them an incredible quality of life at a fraction of the price. The city has gone through a real renaissance over the last decade. Downtown is thriving. The arts scene is incredible, and there's been serious investment in infrastructure and development. It's not a secret anymore, but it's also not oversaturated. You can still get in a great price point before this market really takes off. One of the biggest drivers of relocation here is remote work. When people are no longer tied to a specific city for their job, Winston-Salem becomes a very attractive option. You get a genuine city feel, good restaurants, culture, entertainment, but without the traffic, the noise, and the cost that comes with larger metros. A lot of people that I work with are relocating from places where they felt like they were running just to stand still financially. Winston-Salem gives them room to breathe, and once people visit, they're usually sold. Let's talk numbers, because this is usually the first thing people want to understand. The cost of living in Winston-Salem is consistently below the national average and significantly below most major metro areas. Housing is the biggest category, and this is where the difference is really dramatic. The median home price in the Winston-Salem area hovers into the low to mid 300s for a solid move-in ready home. And for $500,000 to $700,000, you're looking at genuinely luxury properties with space, finishes, and land that would cost 2 to 3 times that in markets like Northern Virginia, Southern Florida, or California. Property taxes in Forsyth County are reasonable, and North Carolina as a whole has a flat income tax structure that many people moving from high-tax states find to be a welcome change. Groceries, utilities, and everyday expenses are all in line with or below national averages. And while some things like dining out have gone up post-pandemic everywhere, Winston-Salem still feels very affordable compared to larger cities. When you sit down and do a side-by-side comparison of what your dollar gets you here versus where you're coming from, most people are genuinely surprised. Winston-Salem has a really diverse mix of neighborhoods, and one of the most common questions I get from relocation buyers is, where should I actually live? The answer depends a lot on your lifestyle, your budget, and what matters most to you. So let me give you a quick overview of the main areas, and then you can start narrowing it down. If you want to be close to everything, walkability, restaurants, arts, the Energy Solutions Arena, the minor league ballpark, then downtown Winston-Salem and the West End are worth exploring. West End, in particular, is one of the most architecturally beautiful neighborhoods in the city, with historic homes, mature tree canopies, and a real sense of community. It's close to Wake Forest University, which brings a lot of energy and amenities to that side of town. Home prices here range quite a bit based on size and condition, but expect to pay a premium for that location. If you're looking for newer construction, larger lots, and that suburb feel with great schools, then areas like Bermuda Run, Clemens, and Louisville are very popular. These communities sit on the western side of Forsyth County and offer a quieter, more spread out lifestyle while still being a very manageable drive to the city. A lot of families with kids prioritize this corridor for the school districts and the overall feel of the community. You get more house, more yard, and more privacy, and those things matter a lot to a lot of buyers. On the eastern side, you have areas like Kernersville, which sits right on the Forsyth-Guilford County line and is honestly one of the most underrated communities in the entire Triad. It feels like a small town with a real Main Street vibe, but you're 20 minutes from both Winston-Salem and Greensboro, which makes it incredibly convenient. A big question for anyone relocating is, what's the employment situation look like? Winston-Salem has a diverse and stable economic base, which is one of the things that makes it resilient in ways that single industry cities are not. Healthcare is a massive employer here. Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist is one of the largest employers in the entire region, and the healthcare ecosystem around it, research, biotech, specialty practices, continues to grow. If you're in healthcare, there is a strong opportunity here. Education is another major pillar. Wake Forest University, Winston-Salem State University, Salem College, and Forsyth Technical Community College are all based here, and together they create a strong anchor for the local economy. Beyond those anchor institutions, you have a growing technology and innovation sector fueled in part by the Wake Forest Innovation Quarter, a 300-acre research and development district right in the heart of downtown. Major companies like Hanes Brands, Lowe's Foods, and Reynolds American also have significant operations in the region. And for remote workers, the infrastructure and quality of life here make it a very attractive place to be based. If you're moving with kids, schools are going to be near the top of your priority list. And this is an area where I always encourage people to do their own deep research because it really does vary by area. Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is the district that covers the city and most of Forsyth County. And like most large districts, there's a wide range in terms of ratings and resources depending on which specific school you're zoned for. The suburban areas, particularly Clemens, Louisville, and the Bermuda Run corridor, tend to have schools that receive very high marks and where families report very positive experiences. There's also a strong private school ecosystem here if that's a route you want to explore. Summit School, Calvary Day School, and Bishop McGinnis Catholic High School are among the well-regarded private options in the area. For families who are very school-focused in their home search, this is something I spent a lot of time on with my relocation clients, because the right neighborhood for your family might be very specifically tied to the school zone you end up in. That's a conversation worth having early in the process. One of the things people are always pleasantly surprised by when they move here is just how much there is to do. Winston-Salem has a legitimate arts and cultural scene. The Renolda House Museum of American Art, the Southeastern Center for Contemporary Art, and the Stevens Center for the Performing Arts are all world-class institutions that you would expect to find in a city twice this size. There's a reason Winston-Salem has historically been called the City of Arts and Innovation. That identity is very real, and it runs deep into this community. The food scene has absolutely taken off over the last several years. Downtown is full of independent restaurants, craft breweries, and coffee shops that reflect real culinary talent and creativity. Village Tavern, Mellow Mushroom, Wiseman Brewery, and a number of James Beard recognized chefs have all called this city home. Whether you're into farm-to-table dining, international cuisine, or a great casual spot for wings and a craft beer, you'll find your place here. And because it's not a huge city, you're never dealing with an impossible reservation or a 2-hour wait. For the outdoors crowd, there's great access to hiking, cycling, and green space both within the city and within a reasonable drive. Hanging Rock State Park and Pilot Mountain State Park are both within 45 minutes and offer some of the most spectacular scenery in the state. The Greenway Trail system within Winston-Salem itself is expanding and connects neighborhoods throughout the city. And of course, the Blue Ridge Parkway and the mountains are about an hour and a half away. So if weekend trips to Boone or Asheville are your idea for a perfect Saturday, you are very well positioned here. Let's bring it back to real estate, because if you're watching this video, that's ultimately where this is all leading. The Winston-Salem real estate market has been strong, and while things have moderated from the frenzied pace of 2021 and 2022, demand from relocation buyers remains a real factor in this market. Inventory has been limited, which has kept prices relatively stable. This is not a market that experienced dramatic price drops even when interest rates rose sharply. That says a lot about the underlying demand and the health of the local economy. For relocation buyers specifically, one thing I always prepare people for is the pace. When a well-priced home comes to market in a desirable neighborhood, it moves. If you're planning a relocation, one of the best things you can do is get pre-approved early. Have a clear picture of what you're looking for, and work with an agent who can move quickly when the right home comes up. That's exactly the kind of guidance I provide to every relocation client I work with. The goal is always to get you into the right home in the right neighborhood without the stress and without leaving money on the table. That's everything you need to know to get started on your Winston-Salem relocation research. I really hope this gave you a clear, honest picture of what life here looks like, because that's exactly what I'd want if I were in your shoes. If you're ready to take the next step, reach out to me directly. All my contact information is in the description, and I respond quickly. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.